What's up guys, Houndish here, and today, as always, we're going to jump in and talk about some Destiny 2 stuff. So we're going to round up some information about updates coming this week. Bungie are going to break down a bunch of changes that are dropping in the October 30th update, which drops next week. We're also apparently going to see an annual pass for year 3 of Destiny 2, and we'll talk about some other content things. Folks are now hunting for the 10th wish in the Last Wish raid, and it appears that this one is linked to Gambit. We'll talk about a potential end to the curse in the Dreaming City, and other upcoming content in the near future. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, a rating as always is appreciated below, but now let's jump into it. So of course, it's no secret that Destiny 2 Forsaken has its fair share of issues and things which need to be adjusted in the game. On the subject of exotics, DMG said, next week, exotic rewards will be updated to favor items that you have not already acquired. Duplicates can and will still happen, but at a much lower rate. And the team has also made a change to duplicate drops in that they will favor armor over weapons. This will help those searching for specific perk sets now that armor offers random rolls. And it does say we'll have a bit more info in this week's Bungie update. So of course, we've known about the changes to exotics that are coming up next week. It's good to know that the drops will favor items that you haven't acquired. But it's also interesting that Bungie will be dropping exotic armor more regularly than weapons. That definitely sounds good if you're looking for specific bonuses. Of course, we'll have to see how it plays out in the game, but it's definitely a very needed change. Also on the subject of other changes coming in the update on October 30th, there's an issue where raid challenges from Hawthorne's weekly clan bounty have not actually been updating week by week, so have been stuck with essentially the same challenge, which is unintentionally locking content away. DMG says this is a known issue. I believe it'll be addressed on October 30th. Sleeper crate ammo changes will go live on the 30th, so Sleeper will actually be given less ammo from ammo crates, and that's on top of the adjustment to aim assist that we've seen. And we know that there will be further adjustments to Masterwork cores, the drop rates for those, and some other economy stuff we can expect to get more details about this week. I had some questions about the Trace Rifle Mastery Crucible Triumph. Bungie did remove this in the previous update, and basically this one was locked to PlayStation 4 because you had to be able to access a Void Trace Rifle, of course the PS4 exclusive, but Andrew Weldon from Bungie says that this Triumph will return in a future update, with your previous progress added into a single value, and will require 100 final blows with Trace Rifles. And this was chosen so that if you've completed Arc and Solar, but are unable to complete Void, you will already have completed this Triumph when it returns in a future update. So basically, specific damage types are no longer required for that Triumph. On to other news though. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, folks were still hunting down wishes on the wish wall in the Last Wish raid. And things have gone kind of quiet for a couple of weeks, as it appears that the final couple of wishes are time gated in future content. But Jinsa on Reddit actually found a way to calculate wish 10, which hasn't previously been found. So essentially they developed some algorithm to figure out exactly what the wish was and what you'd need to input. And he actually managed to make this work, so he does know the code for wish 10 in Last Wish. Jinsa did, however, decide not to share the code because a lot of people are still hunting it down legitimately, and of course this wasn't actually found in the game. The plate that displays the correct code hasn't been found anywhere in Destiny. We do, however, know what the wish does, so it actually gives the Last Wish raid dialogue from the Drifter. So you may remember there is dialogue that you can get from Failsafe throughout the entire raid, and this one activates Drifter dialogue as you complete encounters. But on the subject of where this plate could actually be, Jinsa says, from what I get from the data, it appears that the plate for wish 10 must be somewhere on a Gambit map, as the wish was in a package of Gambit files. He adds that there are textures also in that package which are typical for the EDZ map, and he adds that this is the same for different wishes that have been found, you know, ones which are hidden in Dreaming City. All the files related to that would be packaged in the Dreaming City files, and the files relating to wish 10 are packaged in the Gambit files. So now folks are doing all kinds of crazy stuff trying to figure out where this plate could be, like trying to find the key when they're invading in Gambit. So the speculation is that there's a possibility that you actually have to go through the invasion portal, and say you're on the Emerald Coast map in the EDZ, maybe you can actually see that plate only as an invader. I'll be curious to hear what you guys think. Either way, I'll link Jinsa's post down below if you guys are interested in jumping in on the hunt. Next though, I mentioned some stuff about the annual pass and year 3 of Destiny 2. So recently I spoke about some leaks from Anon the 9. Of course, I spoke about a lot of stuff in Forsaken, and now have been dropping information about Destiny 3, supposed leaks that suggest Europa will finally be in the game, and that we'd see player versus versus player versus enemy inside of open world areas. But somebody asked, speaking of future content, can you give any insight as to what the 2019 Comet expansion might be? And according to Anon, Year 3 will feature another annual pass, so we can expect to see a similar cadence of content going forward as to what we're going to see over the next few months as well. And that also suggests, if that is the case, that much like in D1, we'll have a full 3 years, and then 2020 would actually be the launch year for Destiny 3. If you want to check out any more information about those leaks, as well as more kind of source proof, I'll link my previous video down below. There's also some other data mine stuff which is pretty interesting, and this comes from Mills for the Win on Reddit. He actually used Jinsa's audio tool, which is some pretty neat software that can read from the game files to extract audio lines and dialogues, but they found some pretty interesting stuff about the Dreaming City and what's likely to happen moving forward. So they did actually find this dialogue coming up right here. There is a spoiler alert right here. This is going to be a conversation between Morozov and our ghost shell that gives us a bit of a taste for the atmosphere and the mood that we're going to see over the next few weeks, so check this out.
Morozov, we need answers and your people need help. They are suffering while you're busy with what exactly? I don't know because you don't tell us. You never say anything. Nothing plain, nothing useful. Guess you're too wrapped up in your own affairs to be a good queen. The curse has begun again. This will be the 7th try for the Guardians. I don't see how this time around will be any different. We throw ourselves at this thing again and again, and it never changes. How can anyone here go on when there's no guarantee they'll see the future they're fighting for?
So, you know how to rule, do you? You understand the sacrifices I make. You speak of good queens and absent rulers, little light, so you must know these things. Speak! What should I do when my every action is in service of a future that benefits you? You do not know me, or the things I do. Do not dare to presume. You have not earned the right. Get out of my sight.
Obviously pretty interesting stuff right there. The ghost definitely frustrated at Morozov's behavior, and the queen definitely not happy being spoken to like that by a ghost. But of course they make reference to a minimum of 7 cycles in Dreaming City, and each one of course includes a full 3 weeks, so we get 3 weeks and then we get the maximum curse. And according to that dialogue, we'll see 7 cycles before this concludes, but there are also other dialogue references that you can check out in the Reddit post. I'll link that below. And these reference the curse actually being completely broken in Dreaming City. There are vendors that refer to the Guardian as Cursebreaker, which of course is the title when you complete the Dreaming City stuff. And also there are lines from Riven, where Riven refers to us as Cursebreaker as well. But if we are to expect a full 7 cycles of the curse, then it seems likely that the curse would actually conclude or finish in February of next year. That could potentially correlate with one of the annual pass updates. But it's certainly pretty interesting stuff. There are other lines of dialogue that suggest Morozov may actually go away for a period of time, and this will be part of the story. But exactly how that pans out and what it all means is anybody's guess at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. I will link that Reddit post in the description like I said. On the subject of tracking some other content in the game though, a lot of people had speculated that the Harbinger's Echo Sparrow, the exotic in the collection, could come from destroying all of the corrupted eggs in Dreaming City. Just as a heads up about that, it's going to take another 2 weeks for that actually to become obtainable. So we've got this week's reset, there'll be new corrupted eggs made available, and then the following week's reset, where there are other currently unobtainable corrupted eggs in Ascendant challenges. So I guess we'll find out if the Sparrow does indeed come from destroying all of those eggs. That'll also happen on the same week that the October 30th update happens, where we get the Thunderlord quest, as well as a bunch of changes in the game. So that's going to make next week's reset a pretty busy one as well. For anyone who wanted to turn gifts into all of the cats in Dreaming City, all of the locations have now been found. So we've got a Reddit post here from Nico with a video linked showing all of the locations of the cats in the city. So if that's something that you're kind of pursuing and want to track down, I'll link that Reddit post down below. There are triumphs and things like that associated with it. Final thing I wanted to mention, I did tweet out yesterday as I'd managed to solo Shadowed Throne, something I spent a few hours doing. It's not necessarily something that I would make a full video on, but some folks asked for some tips for doing this. Of course, the main challenging areas would be Vorgoth, as well as Dulla and Karud. My strat for Vorgoth was was to use a void bow. So I have the subtle calamity and it has dragonfly as well as explosive head. This is actually really good for this encounter, for taking down the ads and then the wizards as you go around the room. So I was rocking that with the better devils for ads as well as axion darts from the boss. And I actually decided to go with sleeper simulant as opposed to the whisper. It's basically much easier to use, especially if you're on console. But you have to use these kind of little areas to take cover, slowly take down all of the ads, and then I would actually take down, maybe 2 or 3 of the wizards, pop a super to take down the final wizard, then I'd have enough buffs to actually slam the plate and begin DPS. For me, it was pretty simple, just drop a rally, take out the axion darts, switch up to the sleeper, fire as many as I can, switch back, take out the darts. And it took me a couple of damage phases to get the kill, but you can use other setups that do make this quite a bit easier. If you rock Well of Radiance, for example, you can basically tank all of the axion darts. This means that you're going to put out quite a bit more damage than you would doing what I did. It makes the encounter less complicated and less dangerous in general. And there's also Blade Barrage a lot of folks are using on the Hunter, because you can basically take his shield down, fire a Blade Barrage for some pretty good damage, shoot the axion darts, then switch up to your Sleeper or your Whisper. But honestly, there are some pretty good guides. If you wanted to try and solo Shadow Throne, I would recommend searching it on YouTube, literally, the class that you want to run in on, and then check out folks like Esoteric, Gigs, Glad. There's a whole ton of people who are really good at the game that you can check out videos for this kind of stuff. And then Dolan Karud, honestly, is pretty easy. The main difficulty is going to be ad control and taking out the knights, which you can do with the Whisper. If you can get this in a one phase, it actually is a lot easier, because as you can see right here, I get Whisper breathing, and then it's like 8 or 10 shots, one of them even misses, to take out Dolan Karud solo. And of course, you get the exclusive emblem when you clear Shattered Throne. It's not the kind of thing I would normally do, but it was actually a really fun experience. It does take quite a bit of time. You need to develop your own kind of strategies for it. But I just wanted to give a brief heads up on the way that I kind of focused on the more difficult sections of that. And if you feel like you fancy running it, absolutely, next time it comes around, I recommend that you try it. But guys, that is going to summarize today's video. So let me know your thoughts on any of the stuff down below. The 10th wish, where do you think that one could be hidden? Let me know if you're excited for the changes coming up next week. I'll keep you posted this week with more information about that. But if you have enjoyed the video, a like below is super appreciated, guys. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more Destiny 2 stuff, be sure to hit subscribe, turn on those notifications. Some of you guys may have also noticed you can now get some of the official Houndish merchandise that I've got on Teespring. Depending on platform, this actually appears below the description box on the videos now. So just wanted to give a quick heads up to that. Obviously, any support that you guys show me by picking up any of this stuff is super, super appreciated. Guys, thank you as always for tuning in, all of the support on the channel. And whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome week.